Can you guys hear me? Sorry, we're having some technical difficulty there. But now we're back. We were having some issues with YouTube and some of the internet connections there, but now we're back and we're going to have some of our moderators join us here in a second. Again, I want to apologize for the technical difficulties there, but we're going to try to get this started. And thanks for being patient with us, most importantly. Looks like I'm a little choppy. Can everybody hear me and see me clearly? Is the video running smoothly? Awesome. Thank you, Sean, for the update there. Can Courtney, one of our moderators, can you let Matt Ruder know that we're good and going here? Glad to see that we have some people already checked in here. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll try to get started here in the next minute. I'm going to open up with some just quick remarks, and then we'll dive into some questions you guys have. But again, thanks for bearing with us in this technical difficulty that we're having. But again, can everybody hear me okay? If you can hear me fine, if the video's moving fine, can you just kind of update that in the chat just so we're all aware that we're good to go to get started? It's a bit choppy, but you can hear me okay. Sorry about that. Hopefully the internet does pick up a little bit. It was running fine a second ago, so we'll see if it picks up. If it's really choppy, let me know, and I'll try to fix it on our end so we can get it fixed on the back end or something like that. Awesome. But I'm going to go ahead and dive in with just some remarks. I'm super excited about this opportunity to chat with you all. I want to personally welcome you to Missouri State Admissions Live Q&A for Fall 2020 students. It's an absolute pleasure to have you participate in this live stream. My name is Jimmy Sodi, and I'm one of the assistant directors in the Office of Admissions. I've been with Missouri State as a staff member for a little over 4 years now. But before that, I attended grad school at Missouri State, graduating back in 2014. I'm a resident, and I graduated from Parkway North High School. So for all my St. Louis people, go Vikings. My recruitment area is Kansas City, Northwest Missouri, and Kansas. So super happy about that. I'm glad everybody can still hear me. Little lag, but they can hear me. So I'm sorry about the lag. I really hope that speeds up. I think it might be just kind of a YouTube issue with this time of night. But again, sorry about that lag. Hopefully it does speed up for you. Before I dive into some of your questions, I did want to provide a little more intro information to get us started. COVID-19 has changed a lot of things in our lives, and the same can be said for Missouri State. And we wanted to make sure that you, the student, are constantly aware and updated about any and all changes that are occurring. We created a coronavirus website to keep students informed as updates develop. This website is missouristate.edu/admission/coronavirus. Hopefully one of our moderators can drop that in the chat for you about that. Again, if there is any lag, let me know. My moderators will text me and kind of give me updates along this as well. So I do want to say, unfortunately, I won't be able to answer any questions related to your personal situation, such as financial aid or housing specific questions. But I want to encourage you to set up a virtual appointment with one of our admissions representatives. During that appointment, we can really take a closer look at your individual situation and get those questions answered for you. Just visit missouristate.edu/contact-rep. And again, one of our moderators will drop that link into the chat as well. So if you want to set up a meeting with one of our admissions representatives, I would definitely encourage you to do that. Just click that link and set up an appointment with us. And I also want to mention that we've extension fee refund date to June 1st, 2020. This gives you a little bit of extra time to evaluate your higher education choices. We really hope you choose Missouri State. Most importantly, we want to give you time to make the right college decision. And so we've extended that deadline to June 1st. That again is when you can get your refund on your confirmation fee. And when it comes to SOAR, we made some changes with SOAR as well. We're pausing online registration right now for SOAR. We will still plan to offer in-person sessions this summer, but we're evaluating the best way to do that. Online registration will reopen on Monday, April 20th. Previously registered students will be able to reschedule their sessions. So please check your email often for your opportunity to reschedule or register for SOAR. And also importantly, I want to stress that the health of our campus community and you, the incoming student, are the top priority for Missouri State. So really hope we can really address some of your questions tonight. So I have some questions already popping up in the chat, so I definitely want to start diving into that. Sydney Carthers asked, when will we get roommate assignments? That's a great question, Sydney. Our moderators will help you answer that too, but roommate assignments will go out at the end of May. If you have not completed your housing application, make sure you complete that by May 1st so you can get your housing assignment at the end of May. In that housing assignment, it'll tell you, your residence hall, your roommates, all that important information that you're kind of waiting on right now. But again, if you haven't completed that housing application, make sure you get that in by May. And I also want to mention, if you're unsure if you've completed it, if you're missing some items, definitely reach out to housing, but also reach out to your admissions representative. We can kind of work with housing to kind of find out where you are in that process and make sure that you get your room assignment at the end of May. Got a couple more questions coming in here through the chat. Grace asks, are you guys giving out housing assignments now? Like which dorm we'll be in? And again, Grace, we are going to be releasing housing assignments at the end of May. And I again want to mention, if you have not completed your housing application, definitely get that in sooner rather than later. So glad we can answer that. Tiffany Nass, is the new dorm still expected to be completed by fall? Tiffany, that's a great question. Right now, we're expecting that dorm to be completed by fall on schedule. So that's still an option. So again, when you're completing the housing application, that is an option that you can select. Great question, Tiffany. I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. Shalisa asks, where can we find the e-agreement? Shalisa, are you talking about the e-agreement for the housing application? I'm sorry, if you could provide a little more information, I could try to get that question answered for you. So Michael asked, what are the different work-study programs? So Michael, that's a great question. And I'm going to talk about this kind of in two parts. Work-study versus student employment. Work-study really is tied into your finance. Once you get your kind of financial aid offer, it'll tell you how much work-study you're available for. Student employment is just student jobs on campus or jobs on campus that students fill for us. The big difference is, again, one's kind of focused on financial aid, the other one is not. There are a ton of different opportunities on campus, a ton of different work-study opportunities for students, as well as student employment opportunities. Our office alone, the Office of Admissions, employs a lot of students. We employ some work-study students as well. But I'm glad you're thinking about working during your time at Missouri State. One thing I definitely encourage students to do, if you have time, definitely consider getting a job on campus. I'm not saying you to work 40 hours a week or 30 hours a week, but getting a job that allows you to work some hours, I think really helps build some structure into your day. So great question, Michael. Michaela Strickton asked, do you know when we will know about the MSU Foundational Annual Scholarships? Michaela, that is a great question. I'm actually not too sure when we release the information on that, if we have it or not. I think it comes out later in the spring. I'm hoping my moderators answer that question for you. So I couldn't give you specific dates on that. Lauren Rice, will we be able to see the room layout before moving in day? So great question, Lauren. I definitely want to encourage you to go onto the housing website. They have kind of layouts of all their residence halls, all their rooms. They talk about amenities of different rooms. So again, if you haven't necessarily chosen a residence hall, you can kind of see what might be the best fit for you. But it does have like kind of a detailed floor plan and stuff like that of what space you have available. I would also recommend working with your roommate on kind of what to bring and stuff like that. So I hope I answered that question for you, Lauren. So Christy Beavers asked, when is the last day that we can commit to MSU? Great question, Christy. This is something I say often. One thing that's nice about Missouri State is you can commit to Missouri State in August if you want to. If Missouri State speaks to you in August, we definitely encourage you to attend Missouri State. We encourage you to submit your confirmation fee so you can register for SOAR. So that commit date now is pushed back to June 1st. So I would definitely encourage you to commit to Missouri State by June 1st so you can get refunded your confirmation fee if you decide to go to a different school. But let's say in July something happens and Missouri State then speaks to you, you can definitely still attend Missouri State. So, but again, Christy brings up a great point. We moved our confirmation fee refund date back to June 1st. Again, that is there to give you more opportunities to make the right college decision. We really hope you choose Missouri State, but again, we want to give you the most time to make that decision well. I just want to double check with everybody. Is my sound okay? Is it kind of lagging still? I hope not, but I hope I can get those answers in the chat. So Caitlin Thornton asked, do you know anything about graduate admissions? Unfortunately, Caitlin, I work specifically in undergraduate admissions, so I can't answer any questions related to graduate admissions. They are still answering questions, so if you want to email graduate admissions, I'm sure one of our moderators will drop the link for graduate admissions in the chat, so you can email them directly. And Shalise asked about the e-agreement is that for Jumpstart? I wish I had more information about Jumpstart e-agreement. Shalise, if you hope one of our moderators reaches out to you, we can get your information and get you in touch with the right person with the Jumpstart program. Sorry about that, Shalise. So Mackenzie asked, is SOAR still something that is being planned on happening? So great question, Mackenzie. I kind of want to mention We have made some changes to SOAR as well. We're pausing online registration for SOAR right now. We still plan to offer in-person sessions this summer, but we're evaluating the best way to do that for our students. Online registration for SOAR will reopen Monday, April 20th, and then previously registered students will be able to reschedule their session. So please, again, check your email often for the opportunity to reschedule or register for SOAR. So we are still planning on having SOAR this summer to help you guys get acclimated to Missouri State, but also get registered for classes, meet your advisor, things like that. Thank you, Kirsty, for dropping the links for some of here. Big thank you to Kirsty and Courtney, our moderators, for helping answer some of these questions as well. Rochelle asked, with these in-person, oh, jumped on me. Sorry, Rochelle, I cannot find your question again. Uh-oh. All right, so I'm gonna move forward a little bit. So Celeste asked, will the coronavirus affect move-in date? Right now, Celeste, we're planning on starting Missouri State in the fall on time as scheduled. Again, I want to mention that any changes that are happening to SOAR, we have a website that admissions that tracks any changes for you, so you can be caught up on that. The website is missourustate.edu/admissions/coronavirus. Again, one of our moderators will drop that in. We will reach out to you and communicate with you effectively on that. So I'm going to scroll down a bit, try to get to the beginning of this chat here. Awesome. So Michaela Strickland asked, this is kind of far out from now, but do you have any idea when the Inclusive Excellence Celebration Day is? That's a great question, Michaela. Usually we have that celebration for our students at the beginning or in the spring around the Mid-Student Day. Since we cannot do that, we're actually going to make some changes to how the Inclusive Excellence Celebration will happen. We're looking at doing something in the fall when students are on campus. If you were offered the Inclusive Excellence Scholarship, please get that acceptance offer in, as well as if you were offered the Presidential Scholarship or the Centennial Leadership Scholarship. We definitely want to get your scholarships assigned, so definitely get those scholarships into us. All right, looks like I'm lagging a little bit. I apologize for that. Thank you for dropping that information about Jumpstart in there as well. So Rochelle asked, with these in-person SOAR sessions, is that where we will build our schedule? So great question, Rochelle, or Rachel, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. That is where you'll build your schedule. You'll work with your advisor pretty effectively to build a schedule. And that's, again, one of the benefits of going to college is kind of getting control over how you will take classes, when you'll take classes, things like that. A lot of stuff is going to happen at SOAR, though. We're going to try to give you a lot of things to help you acclimate to Missouri State. But the most important things you're going to do there are meet your advisor and register for classes. So I hope that answers that question for you. So Brenda Cooper asked, how long do you have to submit a roommate request? So Brenda, that's a great question. One thing that we encourage students to do is if you have not found a roommate, go on the new student community. That's through Facebook. Try to find a roommate there. That's a great place to find a roommate. A lot of students find roommates through that route. But once you're doing your housing application, you can put that student's name down, they can put you down. And so when you're getting paired up, when your housing assignment comes out, it'll be available for you there. Some more questions here. Sorry if I'm lagging again. I see that the stream is a little bit unstable. So Aaron Wells asked a really good question. How will the last semester grades or lack thereof come into play as far as admissions, et cetera? That's a great question. We're looking at every student situation on a case-by-case basis when it comes to those kind of issues. If you're having any difficulty with taking classes and stuff like that, right now we're going to look at that. Let us know so we can evaluate that on a case-by-case basis. Again, email admissions@missourustate.edu. We made some policy changes as well. So again, if you go to our coronavirus website for admissions policies, we made a couple policy changes to help students kind of navigate this troubled time right now as well. Awesome. Some more questions in here. So Ava asked, is there any way I'm able to finish my housing application without a meningitis shot due to the current pandemic? I haven't been able to get it. That is a great question, Ava. We are actually, the Office of Admissions has reached out to housing and see how we're going to handle that situation. We had a student ask that question earlier today. So hopefully we can get an answer from housing soon. I would also encourage you to reach out to housing as well to let them know about your situation. But that is a valid claim. And again, any updates that are going to happen, we're going to try to keep you informed with that. So Gabby asked, should we already know who our advisor is, or do we find that out during SOAR session? Gabby, that's a great question. We will let you know who your advisor is during the SOAR session. That's not something you will know kind of right now. Again, when you come for SOAR, you're going to do a lot of things, meet your advisor, you register for classes and things like that. And Kirsty, thank you for asking that question about the roommate and suite mate preferences. We do preferences for actual roommates, not for actual suite mates. It's really difficult to do preferences for entire suites. So Mackenzie Mitchell asked, if we are a dual credit student in high school, do you know the deadline or start date to transfer those credits? Mackenzie, that's a great question. We encourage students to transfer those credits. We're transferring those credits as soon as we get them from your school, from the necessary institution you took it at. One thing I would encourage is definitely get those transfer credits sent to us before you come for SOAR. That is a great opportunity for have all those credits at your Missouri State transcript, so your advisor can kind of see what classes you've taken prior to starting at Missouri State. So I would say as soon as you complete those dual credit classes, definitely have those transferred to Missouri State by sending your transcripts to our Office of Admissions. We can get that taken care of for you. Sydney asks, will you be taking AP credits from this year with the different test format? Sydney, that's a great question. Right now, we plan on taking your AP credits. We actually have a guide online that kind of lets you know what certain classes are going to transfer in as based on your score in the AP exam. That being said, I know one of our moderators will drop the link in there. If you have any more specific questions about that, about certain class or certain AP credit not transferring, we can definitely look at that on a case-by-case basis. I definitely encourage you to email admissions@missourustate.edu so we can kind of get that taken care of. And Aaron, I am sorry that we're having some technical difficulties. Internet is not great right now, and I apologize for that. So Lucas asked, during our SOAR session, will we get to have an in-depth look at our major program? Lucas, you definitely will. You're going to, again, get to kind of see what it's like to be in your program, meet your advisor, look at the kind of classes that you'll be taking over the next years at Missouri State, and you really get that kind of in-depth look at Missouri State in your specific program. So yes, Lucas, you will get a little in-depth look at your major. I would also definitely encourage you, Lucas, to get a look at it now. Reach out to that specific department to kind of get more information. If you're kind of questioning certain things in the program, definitely reach out to them. Also, I would say reach out to the Office of Admissions. Hopefully we can get you connected with the right people as well. Oh, thank you, Sean. So Shalise asked a great question. Has SOAR been canceled for June? Shalise, so right now it has not been canceled for June. We have made some changes for SOAR. We're pausing online registration for SOAR. We still plan to offer in-person sessions this summer, but we're kind of evaluating the best way to give that to you. Online registration for SOAR will reopen Monday, April 20th. Previously registered students for SOAR will be able to reschedule their session. But again, please check your email often for the opportunity to reschedule and register for SOAR. And again, we're going to definitely keep you updated through this process so we can give you the most accurate information as soon as we know it. So Lauren Rice asked a great question. Where do we turn in our dual credit transcripts? Lauren, you can have those transcripts sent from the institution that you took it at to Missouri State University's Office of Admissions, and we can get that process for you. Most institutions that we know about are still sending transcripts. So even through this coronavirus issue right now, we can still be receiving those transcripts from you. Awesome. Bailey Cooper, if you would like to apply for work on campus, when do we need to apply for that? So Bailey, a lot of that gets talked about at SOAR, applying for work on campus, so student employment or work study. Again, work study is more focused around your financial aid, where student employment is more focused for any student regardless of your financial aid situation. But at SOAR, they'll talk a little bit more about that. And even when you're on campus, you can start applying for those jobs as well. Awesome. So Petra Scott asked, when is the move-in date for fall semester? Petra, I'm sorry, off the top of my head, I want to say August 17th, but can one of my moderators drop in the correct date for move-in? I think the first day of classes is Monday, August 17th, which means the 14th would be move-in date, if I'm correct. But I want to make sure the moderators get the right date in there for you. Sorry about that, Petra, but great question. So Aaron Wells asked, how will the last semester grades or lack thereof come into play as far as admissions? So great question, Aaron. We understand that kind of how the semester ends is going to look different than the years past. And so we really want to work with students on evaluating kind of how their end of the semester looked. That being said, we've made a few changes to our admissions policies during this time. One of those changes is we know students aren't able to retake the ACT or take the ACT or SAT for the first time due to kind of not, them canceling test times. So we're actually admitting students to Missouri State with a 3.25 GPA, regardless of their ACT score. When it comes to your grades for high school and classes like that, please let us know if there's some concerns about certain things, and our Office of Admissions can actually work with you and kind of see what we're looking at. But that really is a case-by-case basis, Aaron, to where we need to see kind of what happened. But again, if you have questions like that, specifically about something, a class you're taking, admissions@missouristate.edu, send us an email and we can try to get back to you as soon as possible. So Mackenzie Mitchell asks, does MSU have a plan for this coming school year if COVID-19 is still at a high effect? So Mackenzie, that is a great question. Right now, all that Missouri State can do is plan for classes starting as usual in August. We are evaluating multiple contingency plans if things were to change or not change per se. But again, we want to plan for classes to start in August as planned. If that looks like it might not be the case, then Missouri State will notify our students of kind of about how we're going to proceed and stuff like that. Right now, we're focusing on, for incoming students, we're focusing on SOAR and giving them the best SOAR experience we can during this time. We've made some changes to SOAR, and so we kind of closed registration right now for SOAR, but basically we're going to reopen it on Monday, April 20th. So previously registered students for SOAR will be able to reschedule their session. So please check your email often for opportunities to reschedule or register for SOAR. So I definitely want to let you know about that as well. I can't scroll down anymore. So Grace asked, can you repeat what you said about finding random roommate on Facebook or somewhere? So Grace, one thing I want to mention is that we have a Facebook community for our students through Facebook. A lot of our students will join that. It's a admitted student community, which means that you need to be admitted to Missouri State. And once you've been admitted, you get invited to that Facebook community. And once you're in there, it's a great way to meet other individuals who are coming to Missouri State for Fall 20. And a lot of our students will find a roommate through kind of just chatting with students in that Facebook community there. And I'm pretty sure our moderators will drop some more information about that as well for you. So Sydney Perlman asked a great question. Will there be an honor-specific SOAR session? Sydney, unfortunately, I can't give you that answer right now. As we know right now, we're just kind of reevaluating how to best provide SOAR. Now, I do not know the specifics about having an honor-specific SOAR session, but we will let you know as soon as that happens. Rachel asked, how do we find a roommate when we don't know where we're going to stay? So great question, Rachel. One thing that you can do is find a roommate, and then that if you like that person that you kind of found as to be a roommate, you can switch your preferences in the system to where you guys will kind of get locked in together through the housing application. Just something to consider for sure. So Sydney Cuthbert asked, do we have to reschedule? Sydney, I'm guessing you're talking about SOAR. And so, yes, you're gonna have to reschedule possibly. But again, we're gonna see information about that, emails about how to reschedule SOAR sessions, things like that. Thank you, Kirsty, for kind of addressing Rachel's question about how to kind of do that preference. It's a great comment. I can see that in your voice, Kirsty, right now. And thank you, Lauren, for saying I found a roommate through the community. As a lot of our students will find roommates through the community as well. I kind of want to scroll back up to see if I missed any questions, but I'm having a little trouble with the scroll bar over here in the chat. I'm going to take this time to plug a couple things, and then I'm going to dive back into the questions. We created a coronavirus website to keep students informed as updates develop. That website is missouristate.edu/admissions/coronavirus. One of our moderators will drop that link in the chat, but that is a great way for you to stay kind of up to date on any changes that are happening with Missouri State and admissions and things like that. I want to encourage you to set up a virtual appointment with one of our admissions representatives. During that time, we can take a closer look at your individual situation and get you some more specific questions answered. Just visit us at missouristate.edu/contact-rep. One of our moderators will drop that link in as well. We do phone appointments or Zoom appointments. So definitely a great opportunity for us to kind of sit down with you and answer any more direct questions that you have. I also want to mention that we've extended the confirmation fee refund date to June 1st. That gives you a little bit of extra time to evaluate your higher education choice. One thing I want to stress is we hope you choose Missouri State, but most importantly, we want to give you time to make the right college decision. And again, you may have probably mentioned this a little bit earlier ago, but we've made changes to SOAR. We're pausing the online registration for SOAR. We still plan to offer those in-person SOAR sessions this summer, but we're evaluating the best ways to kind of do that. Online registration for SOAR will reopen on Monday, April 20th. Previously registered students will be able to reschedule their session, and please check your email often for the opportunity to reschedule SOAR or register for SOAR. So glad I could get those in there for you. Uh-oh, can't see the chat there. Oh, no. Again, I want to thank everyone for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. I know we're having some problems with that, but I'm glad we can got this working, got an opportunity to answer some of your questions. Aaron Wells asked, what do you do if our financial situation has changed due to the job loss from COVID-19? Great question, Aaron. We are aware that this is happening for some students and families. Our financial aid office wants to look at those students' situations. So please reach out to our financial aid office. One of our moderators will drop the link for financial aid in there, but definitely reach out to them and look at your situation. But we understand that this is happening to a lot of families and students. We definitely want to be there to help you during this situation. Okay, more questions. Thank you for dropping that link, moderators. Awesome. Sean Cleethermus asked, Jimmy, can we change our meal plan if we need to? Sean, you can definitely change at Missouri State. That's definitely something to have the conversation with some current students, maybe some students going in about what might be the best meal plan for you. So there are some options, but definitely if you're unsure about the meal plan, your housing application, go log back in and try to get that changed for you. So Lauren Rice, just to clarify, those that have already registered for SOAR will have to reschedule, or we may have to reschedule. So right now, Lauren, we're going to email students to reschedule for SOAR since we're changing some things. So things will look a little bit different, but you'll get communication about rescheduling. So in that situation, we'll have to reschedule, I think is the right answer. So Hannah asked, how do we know who we'll be paired with SOAR? Again, with some of the changes, some of the things will look a little bit different, but they will communicate that to you before you come to campus, Hannah. Sorry about that. So Ava asked, I was never invited to a Facebook group. How do I get into that if I'm already admitted? One of our moderators can drop you some information about getting into that Facebook community group. We definitely want to get you in there. We definitely want to get you in there so you can kind of interact with some of our admitted students. Sean asked, how is the food on campus? Well, Sean, I personally love the food on campus. I often eat breakfast in our dining centers. That being said, I don't want you to think that we're giving you egg frittatas every morning for breakfast, but you can have a nice, healthy breakfast. I love the omelet station at Garth, one of my favorite things for sure. So definitely have that available for you too. All right. Right now, we're not actually canceling SOAR. We've made some changes to SOAR. We're pausing online registration right now. We still plan to offer in-person SOAR sessions in the summer, but we're evaluating the best ways to do that. Online registration will reopen Monday, April 20th. Previously registered students will be able to reschedule their sessions, so please check your email often for the opportunity to reschedule or register for SOAR. I do want to make it clear that you cannot reschedule SOAR right now. We're still finalizing that whole plan. We will contact you about any adjustments that needs to be happening to make changes. So definitely check your email here in the upcoming days with any changes to how SOAR will operate. All right. Look at some more questions. Oh, great question. So Nick asked, what are your math requirements? Kirsty, one of our moderators, kind of answered that for you. We do require 3 units of math. And so as Kirsty kind of made a note of, you need to have 3 units of math in high school. So if you took algebra class in 8th grade, that's not going to count as one of those units for math. So I hope that gets that question answered. Thank you, Kirsty, for dropping that in there as well. Abigail asked, are you able to contact a counselor early about questions for specific majors? Maybe you're able to contact the department or the program itself. That's something I would definitely encourage you. If you have some questions about the program specifically, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to that program. That's the best way to get those specific program questions answered. So definitely reach out to them. If you need help with that, Abigail, please reach out to the Office of Admissions first. We can put you in contact with the right person. Our email address is admissions@missouristate.edu. So Lucas asked, what are the meal diversity options? As far as you're talking about, I hope you're talking about meals that we offer just throughout the day, not meal plans. We have a lot of great meals. One thing that I want to stress is our dining centers definitely are going to work with our students. We're going to have definitely dietary restriction areas, vegetarian option, vegan options. We're going to have some things that are recurring daily, so like a burger, hamburger station, things like that. But we like to try to change up the food. A lot of staff members love eating on campus just because the food's great. The food is wonderful. A lot of my coworkers love the biscuits and gravies. I'm not a biscuit and gravy person, so I can't say all of that, but definitely have great food. I enjoy the breakfast again. Just one of my favorite things. So Brandon asked, my Bear Pass and login is not working. Brandon, I'm glad you dropped that in there. One of our admissions moderators will help you with that. I would definitely email any questions you have regarding logging into your Bear Pass account to our admissions@missouristate.edu account. We can get that addressed for you as well. So Remy asked, thank you. Are there any plans to reschedule Admitted Student Day? Right now, there's not any plans to schedule Admitted Student Day just because of the stay-at-home order for Greene County and Missouri. We cannot conduct any large-scale events like that. Again, we're going to plan for things as the summer to return to some kind of normalcy. If things do change, we will make sure that we update our students, let them know what's going on. Again, thank you for my moderators for getting some of these questions answered. All right. So Mary asked, when do we find out our roommates in dorms? So Mary, great question. If you have your housing application completed by May 1st, housing will release room assignments and roommate assignments at the end of May. Again, make sure that you have your housing application completed by May 1st so you can get that room assignment at the end of May. So Sean asked a great question. He's heard it's a good idea to move in early the weekend before school starts. What kind of stuff goes on? We have a lot of stuff that happens the weekend before classes start in the fall. We definitely want to get you excited about the upcoming school year. We have Bear Bash, Playfair, a lot of great things that are happening. It's a lot of great times to meet different students, student organizations, different departments, things like that. A lot of great activities for our students to get involved in. Convocation happens there. Great way. So definitely if you have the opportunity to move in Friday or Saturday, I would definitely encourage you to move in Friday or Saturday before classes start. So great question, Sean. So Brandon asked, what are the fraternities doing recruitment-wise? So Brandon, in terms of recruitment for fall, they're still going to plan to do rush events, things like that right now. If the situation does change, they will let you know. But right now, fraternities, sororities plan to do their rush events and things like that for the fall semester. So Farron asked, can you explain rushing and the Greek life situation? And so Farron, that's a great question. I try to not talk that much about joining a fraternity and sorority just because I did not have the opportunity of being in one. That being said, if you reach out to us, we can try to put you in contact with some individuals that went through the process of joining a fraternity, and they can give you some more details. It does look different depending on if you're joining a fraternity or sorority, but I really don't want to go into too much details about what that whole process looks like. So Rachel asked, does MSU have a list of things that are not allowed in the dorms, like certain lamps? So that's a great question, Rachel. And yes, there is a list. If you go to housing, you can find that list. I'm pretty sure one of our moderators will definitely drop in the link for that. But it gives you a detailed list of all the things that you can and cannot bring. I would definitely strive to stick to that list. If you have any questions, please reach out to housing before you decide to move in, so we can get that addressed before you decide to bring all your stuff down and move in. So Perla asks, should future students add their university email to their phones yet? Perla, that's something you could definitely, if you want to do, that's definitely a great way to stay kind of updated about things that are happening at Missouri State. We are emailing students my Missouri State email accounts. So definitely, if you want to add it to your phone, that's something we definitely encourage you to do. Thank you, Kirsty, for also getting that. So Remedy asked any updates on the new dorms. Right now, we're planning for that new residence hall to open in the fall. So right now, we're still planning for that to open in the fall as scheduled. I'm gonna plug a couple things real quick. I have to have a second here. I know we definitely want to keep our students updated with all the stuff that's going on with COVID-19. So we created a website on admissions for our students. That's missouristate.edu admissions/coronavirus. One of our moderators will drop that link in the chat for you. Again, that's a great way to stay updated on any kind of policy changes, any new things that are happening with admissions due to COVID-19. I want to encourage you to set up a virtual appointment with one of our admissions representatives. I know it's a live Q&A, but a lot of times, a lot of the questions that you have are more specific, and meeting with that admissions representative via phone or Zoom through a virtual appointment is a great way to get those questions answered that might not be able to get answered here. Just visit missouristate.edu/contact-rep. And again, one of our moderators will drop that link in the chat for you all. And I also want to mention that we extended the confirmation fee refund date to June 1st, 2020. This gives us a little bit of extra time to evaluate your higher education choices. We hope you choose Missouri State, but we understand and we want to make sure that you have the most time to make the right college choice decision. And we made some changes to SOAR, as I mentioned several times. We're pausing online registration for SOAR. We still plan to offer in-person SOAR sessions this summer, but we're evaluating the best way we can do that. Online registration for SOAR will reopen Monday, April 20th, but previously registered students will be able to reschedule their sessions. So please check your email often for the opportunity to reschedule SOAR. And just to stress, right now you cannot reschedule SOAR right now. We're kind of finalizing the plans, but that will be happening in the next couple of days or so. Let's go back to some questions here. So Lauren asked, will I be able to go back after live is over so that I can access these links being given? So Lauren, I think you should be able to plug back in. If not, though, we're going to try to get your email us at admissions@Missouri State so we can try to get some of these links sent to you through there as well. Awesome. Any other questions that I'm missing? So Mary asked, when is the due date for tuition? So right now, Mary, students don't have a bill generated for their account. So as soon as you register for classes, that bill will be generated for your students, and students can at that point start making payments or set up a payment plan for that as well. As far as the due date goes, we encourage students to pay that sooner in the semester than later. But again, if you have any questions about making those payments, I would reach out to financial aid or the bursar's office. So Lucas asks, is the technology on campus up to date? Example, Adobe 2019 version instead of Adobe 2018. Unfortunately, Lucas, I don't have the specifics on specifically Adobe, but please reach out to admissions@missouristate.edu and we can try to get you a more specific answer to that question. So Random asks, is there a way I can change my email to where I get my Missouri State admissions information on another one, since I get it only on my school one? So Random, I'm glad you said that. We definitely want to make sure that we have your non-school email address so that we can get information to you. A lot of times school firewalls will block emails that we send to you, or they'll label that as junk. So definitely email admissions@Missouri State with your new email address so we can get that updated in our system so you get all that communication. So Addison asked, as far as the Inclusive Excellence Dinner goes, any idea when that would be scheduled? I understand it will be during fall semester. Just wondering if I should be looking at August or September. So great question. Again, we usually hold the Inclusive Excellence Celebration Dinner in the spring, but due to COVID-19, we kind of had to move that. We do want to celebrate these scholars. So we plan on celebrating them once the semester starts in the fall. So that could be late August, early September. We haven't really finalized a date for that yet. But again, we want to make sure we celebrate our Inclusive Excellence Scholars. We will notify you as soon as we have more details about that as well. So Sean Cledemus asked, how do we find out about joining student organizations? That's a great question, Sean. There's a lot of ways you can find out about organizations. We have a campus link kind of attachment to our website to where list all the student organizations and their contact information. And on the move-in weekend, we have a lot of opportunities for you to meet different student organizations and things like that. We have a ton of student organizations on campus, over 375 different student organizations, faith-based organizations, political-based organizations, pop culture, fraternity, sorority life. We definitely encourage students to get involved in different organizations, a lot of great ones on campus. We have a lot of different academic organizations too, associated with different departments, things like that. So we definitely encourage students to get involved that way. And you'll have plenty of opportunities to kind of meet these organizations, again, on Move-In Weekend. But again, if you want to check them out now, Campus Link is a great way to do that as well. So Patricia asked, when do incoming freshmen start registering for classes? So Patricia, that's a great question. That actually happens during SOAR. So when students do SOAR, they're going to meet their advisor and they're also going to get registered for classes. So that's when that really happens, is during that SOAR session. So Brenda asked, can you change your preference for housing if you already sent it in? Brenda, the answer is yes, you can log back into your housing application to make changes. And I would definitely consider doing that before May 1st, so you still are able to get assigned your residence hall and roommate at the end of May. Farron asked, what is the link to get your Missouri State email? So Farron, I hope one of our admissions counselors, they sure did. Kirsty dropped the link in there for you, so I'm glad she got that in there. All right. So I'm going to take this time to kind of plug, again, a few more things, a few things I mentioned earlier. So any new people coming in, you kind of get this information. We have a website that kind of updates things that are going on with the coronavirus and how admissions is handling that. MissouriState.edu/admissions/coronavirus. Again, great opportunity to kind of stay updated. One of our moderators will drop that link in the chat for everyone. I also want to encourage students to set up a virtual appointment. It's a great opportunity for students to kind of interact with an admissions counselor, get more personalized questions answered. You can set up an appointment, virtual appointment, by going to MissouriState.edu/contact-rep. Again, one of the moderators will drop that link in there for you as well. And then the last thing I want to mention, we extended the confirmation fee refund date to June 1st. This gives everyone a little bit extra time to evaluate their higher education. So I also want to make sure that I answered a question from before about Inclusive Excellence celebration. So usually we have the celebration for Inclusive Excellence in the spring. Due to COVID-19, we have to move that to the fall, hopefully, in either August, September, October. We will let you know as soon as we kind of find a date and time for that. But we will plan on having and celebrating our Inclusive Excellence scholars. All right, I'm going to try to scroll back down. Thank you, moderator, for dropping all those links in there. If you want those links sent to you as well, just email admissions@MissouriState.edu, and we can send you some of these links that we're talking about right now. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Awesome, awesome. So again, I want to mention SOAR. So we made some changes to SOAR as well. We're pausing registration for SOAR. We still plan to offer that in-person session for you guys, but we're evaluating the best way to do this for you. The online registration reopened Monday, April 20th. So the previously registered students will be able to reschedule their session, but check your email often so you have the opportunity to reschedule and register for SOAR. Again, that is not happening right now. We will notify you as soon as that goes live. We're still finalizing some plans, but again, check your email for more updates on that. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions in there. Oh, Rachel asked, is there a specific date that you can ask to change dorms because of a roommate? Would like some clarification on this topic. So we would encourage you to reach out as soon as possible on that matter if you want to switch residence halls. It's easier to switch residence halls before you've actually moved your stuff in. So if something's not working out, please contact housing prior to you moving in, and they can try their best to make a switch for you. So Sadie asked, where can I find my Bear Pass number? So that's a great question, Sadie. We would love to answer that question. I don't want to do that in a live stream, obviously. So please email admissions@Missouri State, and we can try to get that sent to you, your Bear Pass number and stuff like that. So Danielle says, for any student who hasn't been able to see campus in person, the virtual tour option is fantastic. Danielle, thank you for saying that. That's super exciting. We definitely want to encourage students to take us up on that virtual tour experience. One of our moderators will drop the link for the virtual tour in there. Oh, Chrissy already beat me to it. But that is a great way to see campus, even though you can't set foot on campus. It doesn't supplement the on-campus experience, but it gives you a great idea of what campus is like as well. Michaela Strickland asked, is there a limit on how many people can come with us to the Inclusive Excellence Dinner? Michaela, we try to limit it to 2 per student. Again, because we're moving fall this year, we're not sure how that's going to look. But we try to limit guests to 2 per student for the Inclusive Excellence Celebration. That being said, if you really want to bring 3, let us know and we can see what we can do about extending that to you as well. All right. I've heard that there are rooms available for families to stay in there visiting. Is that correct? Lucas, I'm actually not aware of that, about rooms available for families to stay in if they're visiting. If you're talking about SOAR, that is a possibility. But again, that's something you want to work out with the SOAR office and SOAR registration as well. And one of our moderators will kind of address that more specifically for you, Lucas. Thank you, Courtney, for dropping that link in there. I'm assuming you mean for SOAR, Lucas, too. That's what we're assuming as well. Again, I want to just, again, plug these things again. I would definitely encourage you to set up a virtual appointment with one of our admissions counselors. Some of our admissions counselors are actually working in the chat right now as moderators. They would love to sit down with you via phone or via Zoom with you and your families to kind of talk about your personal situations and your personal questions. A great way to kind of get some last minute questions answered about Missouri State. Definitely want to encourage you to visit our virtual tour. Again, it's not the same as setting foot on campus, but hopefully give you an idea of what campus is really like. And again, I also want to mention that we've made some changes to SOAR. We're pausing online registration for SOAR. We still plan to offer in-person sessions this summer, but we're evaluating the best way to do that. Online registration for SOAR will reopen on Monday, April 20th, and previously registered students will be able to reschedule this session. So please check your emails for any updates on that as well. All right. So we're at 8 o'clock right now. I'm going to try to stay in here for a couple more minutes to see if there's any more questions that popped up as well. I'm glad it was very helpful for some students. Some things I want to plug before we end. Again, set up that virtual appointment with some of our counselors. It's a great way to kind of just chat about your personal situation, any personal questions that you might have. We'll be conducting more of these live stream Q&As over the upcoming weeks. I would definitely encourage you to come back if you have more questions that come up, and please tell your friends to tune in if they have questions about Missouri State as well. Hopefully we don't have this technical difficulty that we had at the beginning, but thank you so much for bearing with us as well on that. I know it's very difficult to do that, and I'm sorry about any of the issues that we had with our live stream as well. But again, thank you for sticking with us as well. Thank you, Courtney, for dropping in the link to our admissions coronavirus page. That's a great way to kind of stay updated on any policy changes that are happening at Missouri State for our incoming students. That link is down in the chat, missouri-state.edu/admissions/coronavirus. Addison Woods, thank you. Thank you so much for that. We're excited to have you on campus this fall too, as well. And last but not least, I'm going to say it again, please set up that virtual appointment. If you have any specific questions, email admissions@missouri-state.edu. And I want to say it one more time, just because it is a new update. We've made changes to SOAR. We're still planning on having that SOAR session in person, but we're kind of evaluating how to do that. And so that online SOAR session registration will reopen Monday, April 20th. If you've already registered for SOAR, you can still reschedule that session, but again, check your email so you'll know when that kind of goes live. Thank you all so much. Thank you, my moderators. Thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, I want to stress we're going to be having more of these live Q&As, hopefully bringing on some more individuals to kind of answer your more specific questions. But again, you've been great. Thank you for bearing with us, and go Bears, and have a good night.